Hello and welcome to What We're Watching. This is Catherine.
I'm Ed.
And John.
Okay, so I wanted to start off with.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Is that okay?
I
I don't
Catherine.
know.
Jeez.
Unless one of you wants to go first.
No.
John, do you want to go first?
You want to go first, so go first.
Okay. First of all, John, I think you're going to be really mad at me, but I want to do Our Flag Means Death. It's the new HBO Max show by Taika Waititi, and it is so awesome. I love it so much. It was 10 episodes, I believe, and boy, they're real fun. In the same way that they turned vampires on its head with What We Do in the Shadows, first the movie,
right.
and then
Okay,
the
sure.
series that's on FX, which I also watch and love, love, love. This is Pirates turned on its head, and it's really fun.
So not upside down pirates.
Well, no, that would be in a submarine, so I don't know if that would. Or I guess just the ship would be sunk or whatever. Yeah, no, not upside down pirates, just the conceit of pirates being...
Trapeze artist pirates. They're just swinging upside down the whole time.
So the main conceit is that Rhys Darby, who I love, very funny, comedic Australian, no, maybe New Zealand actor. I think he's New Zealand. He is an aristocrat who's decided that he wants to be a gentleman pirate. And it's possible that this is based on a real thing. Now, that I can't confirm at this point, but...
You're coming into this with so much information. Yes, Rhys Darby is definitely from New Zealand.
Thank you.
Yes, it is based on an absolutely real person.
Which seems crazy. That makes it even better, but... what they're doing with the story, I don't know how much of that is true in terms of the crew and like all the shenanigans and
Seems super accurate.
I mean, it's a historically accurate show, you guys. No, it's not, as far as I know. So basically, he decides to become a pirate. But he doesn't really want to kill anybody, so he's doing it in kind of a, ridiculous way.
Sure.
Now, he very quickly comes across Blackbeard, who is the renowned pirate of the, wherever, what seas they're in. And that is played by Taika Waititi. So that, I think, is like maybe the second episode you really start, or third episode you really start to get Taika Waititi's Blackbeard. And then it really takes off.
I read a review that, I'm really into the show now. The pilot didn't hook me, but by the third episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, the first two, they were okay. They weren't bad. I love Rhys Darby. I mean, so I was in no matter what.
Right.
But once you really get a high volume of Taika Waititi and where he's going and what he's doing with Blackbeard, yeah, that's real good. Okay, so I want to run down a couple of standouts in the main pirate crew. They're sort of like a meshing of two crews. So you've got Rhys Darby's crew, who is kind of goofy, and then you've got Taika Waititi's crew, who are more like the extreme kind of more piratey pirates. But on
The more piratey pirates. Got it.
right, the more piratey pirates.
Lots of R's.
Arr.
Okay.
So on Rhys Darby's crew, one of my favorites is Joel Fry, who was recently one of the henchmen in Cruella, and also was in the movie Yesterday, which I really love. That Beatles jukebox type of I think that's what you call it when it's like just a bunch of Beatles songs. So he's like the best friend.
There was a story wrapped around that. It wasn't just songs with no
I know.
explanation.
I know. Well, first of all, I love that movie Yesterday, but Joel Fry in it as the best friend. That was the first time I sort of became aware of him. I'm sure he's done other stuff that is great, but that was the first thing. And then when he popped up in this, I was like, oh yeah, love him.
Did you see right after that Love Wedding Repeat?
No.
Oh, you need to see it. It's super fun.
Love
He's in
Wedding
it.
Repeat.
He's
Okay.
very fun.
Okay, well, I'm in then because love him. Nate Faxon, who...
Just Nate Faxon.
Okay. Oh, Nate Faxon? Okay, I'm saying it wrong. He's great in it. He's one of the goofy crew members as well. He plays a Swede, and I think he's just called the Swede, which is very fun. Leslie Jones has a recurring part along with Fred Armisen. They're not in every episode, but enough that you feel like, ooh, that's fun that they're in there. We get a little Will Arnett later, and also Nick Kroll and Kristen Schaal show up, which is very fun. It's great. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And HBO Max, good job thank you for this gem.
Wait, did you really skip over Claudia O'Doherty?
I guess, because I don't know who that is.
She's apparently. I mean, look, I have not watched the show, but I'm with you. I'm looking it up. So she's Steed's wife. Steed.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, one of your favorite.
I do love her.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, sorry.
Although she's Australian, so kind of a raw deal on this one.
Yeah. A comedic actress from Australia who was it Love? What did we?
Love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was very funny. Birdie in Love. God, she was so
Birdie.
good. I love her a lot. Yeah. I neglected to mention her because I forgot that she was in it, and she was great.
And also apparently Christian Narn, Hodor from Game of Thrones, right?
Is that who that is?
Yes.
Oh my God. I was looking at him and I'm like, I should know you. Oh, I don't know you. Oops, I do know you. Okay. Well, now that he's not just saying Hodor, he's a lot different. So there you go. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you have reminded me about things in the show that you have not watched.
Also, it was funny. I thought this might be more important. It isn't. But apparently the director of episodes 2 through 4, Nacho Vigalondo, he also wrote and directed Colossal, which we always wanted to see that movie, the Anne Hathaway
Yeah,
monster.
I kind of maybe we should get on that.
We
'cause
should.
It's one of those things that it's been on the back burner or on the list that got pushed down, and then you forgot about it. But yeah, I did want to see that a lot.
Well, guess what? I think we'll probably have a review of that sometime soon.
You might be right. Spoiler, it could be coming soon. Okay, so the only other related thing that I want to mention, obviously I already brought up What We Do in the Shadows, which is on FX, which is fantastic, hilarious vampire show. But also I want to mention Short Poppies, which is Rhys Darby's short. I think it was 2014. It's 8 episodes. They're available on Amazon Prime. It's an anthology mockumentary show where he plays a bunch of ridiculous characters. It is so fun. And what?
It
What,
is.
John?
I mean, I watched it with you. I think it was maybe your second time watching. It was my first time. It's amazing. I mean, we all knew that we loved Rhys Darby. I didn't know that I needed him to be a leg model,
Oh my
but
God,
I
it was so
needed
funny.
him to be a leg model.
Every single one of them was a gem. I could watch it again right now. Ed,
Yeah,
do you need to watch it? Come on over. We'll watch together.
Sure.
They need to do more. Also, is the more important thing.
That's true. I mean, this is the perfect combination of ridiculousness that I love so much when you get like a Rhys Darby and Taika Waititi doing stuff together. Now, I don't know if it's happening, but I'm also hoping still. There was a rumor at one point that Rhys Darby's werewolf character within the very first movie of What We Do in the Shadows, not the TV series, he was going to do a spinoff or like a series. I don't know if it happened. It was called Werewolves, which of course is like a play on werewolves. Anyway, I don't know. John is looking it up right now.
There could definitely be like a fashion spinoff, werewolves.
Oh, well, that's not what it is. But yes. Anyway, so that's my...
Yeah, still hasn't happened.
God, no, they need to do it. It's so cute and funny, and Rhys Darby is so great. I want so much more of him. Anyway, okay, there you go. That's me. Our Flag Means Death,
yeah.
and Short Poppies, and... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Say whatever you want to say.
Oh, I was just going to say, and What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay. Oh, so we're done. That subject closed.
I guess, for now.
If you say so.
Okay. One of you want to go?
Sure, I'll go. I have been getting ready for this by watching a lot of feature films, and some of the stuff that I took a break with was also feature films.
Oh, so are you seeing like Oscar-y stuff and then intermittently other stuff?
There was a lot of serious contenders for the Oscars,
Yeah.
and in order to take a mental break from some of those stories, I watched, as per usual, some fun or animated things, and I got to watch one with my younger brother John, and we watched The Adam Project, which is on Netflix.
Oh, that I meant to watch that this week and then didn't get to it yet.
Yeah, so hopefully John wasn't planning on talking about that.
You forget that was one we did not do together. I have still not seen it.
What?
Wait,
How did
what?
I have notes on what? Which one did we watch
We
together
watched Turning
recently?
Red and something else.
Oh, I got it. I was actually going to talk about Turning Red next with John, and I got my who I watched it with backwards. Oh, so I watched The Adam Project by myself, not with John.
So it was the Ed Project?
It was by the Adam by myself project. But anyways, the feature on Netflix, which is starring Ryan Reynolds, is a time travel kind of story, and I do like to pitch stuff on here without ruining anything.
Yeah.
So to get around that, it's more like, yes, there's a great story. Yeah, there's some emotion in it. You're going to want to, not necessarily have a box of tissues ready because there's lots of great fights, actually. That's what I want to talk about. There was a lot of action in this that I was surprised by. If you're going to have kind of a teenager or a kid's action movie or an emotional component to a story where you know that this is going to be a component to the storytelling, like that's embedded in the trailer and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to watch that and find it out for yourself. Something about Adam. Anyways, knowing that it's part of the story, that the science fiction side of it, the time travel side of it, I got to really enjoy that because it wasn't like ham-fisted and heavily leaned on and like a major part of the plot. It was like, oh, you need to figure this out and you need to figure that out and that's happening and you got to get away from that. Oh, okay. This is actually just an adventure movie that has, a whole bunch of tears at the end.
No,
There's a
stop.
lot.
Don't even.
Anyways.
I don't.
So I did really enjoy it, and I'd highly recommend watching because it's fun. And Ryan Reynolds brings his usual character to the character.
His fun vibe.
Yep. And the kid was pretty good. There's lots of interviews about this afterwards. If you haven't seen any of them online, the kid's freaking hysterical.
Oh, good. Well, that's probably good because Ryan Reynolds is very funny, so they probably had a good vibe
exactly.
together.
Exactly. And then as far as the actual production value, Netflix doesn't always, if it's their stuff, sometimes their special effects things can be harder to swallow because they know it's going to be on a small screen. I absolutely would have seen this on a big screen. It was like effects wise and visual wise, I feel it would have benefited from another 60 or 70 or 90 inches on a screen, Like my 50-inch TV screen did not do it justice. But also, I enjoy Ryan Reynolds, so I could watch him full size anytime.
Well, and this was a follow-up team-up to him and the director Sean Levy from Free Guy, which was
Nice.
very successful. I like
Nice.
Free Guy a lot, so this makes sense.
Was
That-
Free Guy like a theater movie, or was that also Netflix?
It wasn't exactly the same. Yes, that was a theater movie that's now on streaming somewhere. But
Right.
so different. That was not a Netflix movie. No.
Yeah, I just somehow in the back of my mind I have this idea that Ryan Reynolds has done a lot of Netflix movies lately, and they're doing pretty well. So
Well, there's also a lot of access to stuff of his on all these streaming platforms.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's like if you got, the Ryan Reynolds package on Netflix, not that that's a thing.
should be like
could I
a
pay $2
separate
extra
little-
dollars Netflix and just get like a Ryan Reynolds channel? Thank you. All of your
right,
content.
little drop-down menu, like, oh, it's just the Ryan Reynolds stuff.
Yeah, I think this is his third one because he had Six Underground, and then I think just
right.
last year was Red Notice.
Red Notice,
and
yeah.
then now this year.
Okay.
Nice. And so I had one other thing to say, and I'm not trying to dispel any of the rumors about the movie. It's not rumors. What is it? It's not an Easter egg, but it's like a fan theory. That's what it is.
Oh,
so
a fan
I want to
theory.
dismiss a fan theory because I don't
Okay.
think it's accurate that this movie is connected to 13 going on 30 because Mark Ruffalo is in it. Jennifer Garner's in it, as well as Ryan Reynolds. So between all three of them, it's like a reunion. And then there was a couple things on the internet that were trying to connect. I'm like, nah, it's not connected. But that would have been a really funny gimmick because then it could have been him time traveling in a movie about her jumping forward. It would have been real
Convoluted.
I like a real complicated
Yeah.
situation in a movie.
Well, look, time travel can be real complicated. That's always the problem.
Yeah, so speaking of complicated, having messed up my Who Watched What with Who earlier, I did watch, so I'm going to move on from The Adam Project.
Got it.
Highly recommend. I'm going to move on to something else that was complicated, Turning Red. which I got to watch with John, and that was on Disney Plus, and it is by Disney and Pixar. It's Pixar's new feature that just got released.
Got it.
Anybody heard about that one?
Oh yeah, I've heard about it.
Which one? Oh, that's right. I watched it.
we watched
You
it
watched
together,
it,
right?
so
Thank you.
I am vaguely aware of it, and I don't know who told me this, but the main concept that's going on in it, I was very surprised by.
I had my expectations because I do love how intricate and realistic a version of something that is totally fantastical the Pixar company can do. Like in Inside Out, the inside of the brain, although completely fantastical, to have all of those characters running around and giant, landscapes, et cetera, and core memories, really represented it well. It helped you understand the story that they were trying to tell. So I had assumptions about, correctly asked assumptions, about what this is going to be about necessarily. And even if there was part of it that was explicitly a story about, maturation and coming of age and stuff like that, even if it's not explicitly hitting that point for all of the characters, because there's guys and girls, so it's puberty and the, turning red made it feel like it was going to be a kind of a girl-related thing, and the main characters are girl, even though I know you're saying it's anger. I think it's going to be something else. And it really wasn't. And it turns out that, for the same way, for all the animated features I watched for the Oscars, something like Raya the Last Dragon, it didn't incorporate the entire world. They had a small little world. Encanto, they cut the whole rest of the world off. They had a small little world that they were dealing with, so that they could do whatever they wanted in that world and have magic and et cetera, et cetera. So even though this is set in the real city, in the real world, it's got this fantastic element in it that isn't on the surface. It's not what it's telling you the movie's about by how you see it. And that is a major part of the story, and it's all about family. And not your direct family, generational family, aunts, grandmothers, mothers. It's the whole women's side, and so not about what I assumed it was going to be about, so much more than what it was about. So I really enjoyed that element of the storytelling. Plus, then when you realize a lot of people aren't going to get this because nobody's making TV shows or movies set in 2002. It was a real specific flavor of kids' music or styles or the shoes or what they were wearing. You had to kind of have, nieces or nephews or be young in that era to have any sense of oh yeah, no, that's exactly what it was like. That nailed it. Yep. Everything that they're doing is accurate. Nobody had selfie cameras. It was just the Wild West back then.
Oh my gosh, how funny. I didn't realize that's when it was set.
Yeah, so it's something about the Friends, where there's this friend who was very extreme and just screamed a lot, and then I watched a review about it later. I was like, yeah, that was me. I was that friend back then. Yeah, but you wouldn't do that nowadays because you would go viral instantly if you were that obnoxiously loud. I mean, some people still do it. I do. Anyways, so I really enjoyed both, and that's why I brought them to this podcast.
Okay,
to
wait. So
watching.
John, you watched it. What are your thoughts on it?
No, just go ahead.
Sure. No, I liked it a lot. It was, Pixar, it's funny. They frequently, they like to do basically in the real world with a twist kind of a
Right.
deal. So in this one, you had this actually fantastic twist as opposed to inside your emotions could be real or, whatever. Things that are less fantastical, but this one was turning into a giant or large panda is slightly fantastical.
Just
or
to clarify,
actually
because I haven't seen it,
yes.
and you're saying fantastical, I'm assuming everyone can see that this character is turning into a panda, or is it
Yes.
imagination? Okay, that's the
it's real.
fantastical element.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe just imaginary.
Nope, it's a real panda.
Nope, real big red panda. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, which is fun because then it's you left panda hair, so we knew that you were there, or and also you and your big claws totally messed up your bedroom.
Oh,
so
geez.
it's very real. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was super fun. I mean, it was a good, it's a children's animation movie, but with a real, that's actually. that it can appeal to adults because it's actually very real, or whatever. So it was good. I liked it a lot. It's that director Domi Shi. She's the one who did Bao, the Academy Award winning short.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh yeah, you're quite talented apparently, for sure.
That's interesting because Bao was also about kind of growing up and had a fantastical element, obviously.
Hey, if you know how to tell the story, keep doing it, I guess. Sandra Oh as the mother was fun. I could not place it while we were listening, but I liked her a lot. There's a couple other people. James Hong, infamous, character actor or whatever, from everything apparently. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and it was. Sometimes you're like, you think based on the concept, you're like, well, I know the whole story. Like, well, what else is going to happen? And even though not that much, it wasn't like, oh, and then we did, so then we went into space. It was like, oh, okay, well, no, not something totally different happened, but just even telling the basic story worked very well, I thought.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Which is, that's why they get nominated for Academy Awards, Disney and Pixar. They do good stuff. It looks good. The story's good. The characters are like well developed. You almost go like, can we get more? but don't do it like Disney style. Where you just keep going back to let's do it more. Oh, come on. I love Olaf, but I don't need any more Olaf.
No, not fair. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait the whole year to see how it goes. But yes, I would think next year it should be primed. I mean, it's good. It's very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like an Inside Out kind of a vibe to it in terms of how old the characters were and sort of that they're dealing with emotions and growing up and things like that. I thought it was sort of in a similar sort of spot.
It's like if you added a, this is gonna sound crazy. Oh yeah, this is not gonna make any sense. So if you did Toy Story, but switch the percentages, so mostly the real kids, and then you added a little flavor of Inside Out, sure. That to me, that makes sense.
I got it. You ready, John? Here you go. Catherine, you're exactly right. It's just like Inside Out, except instead of Joy being in the lead with Sadness as her backup co-partner team, it's just Lewis Black and anger, and then you turn into the panda when he takes over. I'm into that. That would be hysterical. Like if you did the Inside Out version of this movie, that's who's in charge inside her head.
All right. Okay, so that's Turning Red. Got it. All right. So John, what were you up to?
Sure. Yes. Similar to Ed, I was doing a lot of Oscar stuff, but moving on from that, one of the ones just recently I did after the Oscars. Finally, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is now on streaming. So I had missed it in the theater, so now I was catching up.
So another Ryan Reynolds is what we're talking about.
Yeah, currently on Hulu and HBO. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that. I was really mainly doing it, the reason why it's somewhat good to bring up now is because it is a follow-up to my Uncharted, because we have Antonio Banderas as a villain.
Oh, okay.
Villainous Banderas.
Yeah, which he, I made it sound like he never does that. It's like he does do it occasionally. But also this one, dissimilar. Now he gets to be with Salma Hayek, one of his on-screen, collaborators that's been many, many times.
Got it.
So Desperado 2, 3. I don't know.
9,
where did they end up
7.
on that one?
What? I don't know.
But so actually not at all the focus of the movie. I mean, there's some moments, but so anyway, I did. So Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson, and I mean, the first one was fun. This one is also very fun.
Nice.
Yes, they're a good combination. In what they're doing. In this vein, I like a lot, and Salma Hayek is completely ridiculous, and her character in these two movies is really ridiculous, and not usually what you get from Salma Hayek, but it's still very fun.
Yeah, she can do comedy for sure, but a lot of times she doesn't. So
well, and this is sort of pure comedy and pure as a foul mouth, which is she usually does like a little bit of comedy, and still from a slightly nice or refined place. Not so in this movie. And
a lot of action for her too, because that's not usually her spot either.
That's true. And Yeah, I mean, look, part of this whole deal with this set of movies is they're just kind of ridiculous. But I mean, look, if you're going to name it Hitman's Bodyguard, you already knew the concept was slightly ridiculous. So now Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Still
Bodyguard's wife, I thought.
No, it's the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Oh.
Because it was the Hitman's Bodyguard. Now it's his wife's bodyguard. You know,
Oh,
it's a whole.
I thought they were just adding wife to the end for sure.
It's a family
Yeah, I don't
affair.
No, you're shockingly, the way you read it and your assumptions led you in the wrong direction. So sorry about that. And yeah, it's whatever. It's fun. They're doing ridiculous stuff. Morgan Freeman gets added in a way that I did not expect. So that was enjoyable for sure. And you know, I thought it's fun. It's certainly, it's not the best action movie of all time or anything, but very fun.
Wait, so who is the hitman then?
Samuel L. Jackson is the hitman.
Okay, and then Ryan Reynolds is the bodyguard.
Yes.
So he is the bodyguard for then Selma Hayek. Where is
So Selma Hayek is
Samuel L. Jackson's wife?
so the hitman's wife.
Sure.
And then it theoretically, it's barely works exactly as a conceit and a fact, but yes. So in this one, he's the wife's bodyguard.
Okay, all right. I mean,
Not really, but
that was a clarification I definitely needed because I had it wrong.
yeah,
Just,
we all sure now you understand, which is nice.
I mean, I understand completely, which
Yeah.
is perfect.
We also got. I mean, I like Frank Grillo, sort of became known from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Rumlow, which then he was always bad apparently, but then went bad, which is bad. But he was very fun, although he was doing a Boston accent in this movie, which was totally tripping me out. And I had to find out, I was like, wait a minute, have you been from Boston this whole time? And I didn't know.
What's your deal?
No, he's from the Bronx. So he's doing a real crossover.
All right,
New York
okay.
to Boston. That's dangerous. But it was when he started, you were kind of like, no. And then and he actually doesn't get a ton of scenes, but, just as it continues, you're like, yeah, it's fine. It's fun. I like it. It's totally fun. So, I really enjoyed that. Catherine, there's at least two. I think you're going to care a lot.
I can't wait.
Maybe not. So Tom Hopper.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
That's
I'm
who
looking
you were-
at IMDb right now, and I was like, I can't wait to ask about Tom Hopper. I want to know what he's doing because I love Tom
You're
Hopper.
a big boy.
Okay, so
Not actually as big as in the show that we're now mentioning.
what Umbrella Academy
Yes.
is what we're yeah. Okay,
Yep.
so obviously I know him from first Game of Thrones.
Oh, right, because you're a studious person. That's where you know him from.
Well, no, I mean he was also like he wasn't it. He was like a replacement cast.
No,
member
I know. Yeah,
in Game of
yes.
Thrones. Yeah, so it was one of those ones where you're like watching Game of Thrones and you're like, wait, did this used to be a different person? I have to look this up right now while we're watching. Hold on, Eric. I'm going to pause it. Which is very annoying, obviously, for people that you're watching with. But
Game of Thrones was a great soap opera. They're totally allowed to just swap out characters they need to.
Well,
they
look,
100% liked a recast. What? They did it like 5 or 6 times.
Better than a just straight out murderer of the cast. Just nope.
That's true.
Look,
everybody's dead.
I don't think it was on purpose. I think it was, sometimes it was like, oh, we had a minor character this season, that showed up and had one or no lines. Oh, next season they have more, and whether they're busy or not, we're going to change. And then I think
we want somebody else in there.
Naharis, maybe that was like, maybe he's busy or maybe he doesn't. Whoa, now we got to change, So sometimes different reasons. Well, I don't think they did it on purpose.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, look.
You're ridiculous.
Okay.
There wasn't an anthology to from season to season, we like to recast.
No. Oh, no, not
So then
that.
that's what I'm
but
saying.
they definitely were like, it's no problem. Nobody's going to care or remember that this person was played by someone else.
They knew that we knew.
Yeah.
And I think they were out front about it. I don't know why we're doing on this thing about Game of Thrones. This is your fault. But they were out front about it, and it was like they just had to do what they had to do. I mean, in their cast of 40, sometimes, and that's minimizing, but sometimes they had these issues.
They had some swap-a-doos. Well, whatever. So
You're a wackadoodle.
just to finish the Game of Thrones thread, he played Sam Tarley's brother right? I mean, that was,
Yes.
and I remember it sort of significantly because the first time we saw Sam Tarley's brother, he was not a particularly exciting specimen. Like, he was fine. And he's supposed to be like poor Sam, who's like, you know, heavy and not a good hunter and all this stuff and a real failure to his parent, particularly his dad, whatever. And then you're like, oh, this other brother, I mean, like, he's fine. I mean, I guess, sure, whatever. And then when they recast him, you're like, oh, yeah, you got a good looking brother, and now he's real big and strong, and you look terrible. Anyway, I just thought he was more significant, this Tom Hopper, as, you know, casting wise. So they definitely realized, like, oh, let's get somebody real good in that spot.
I think yes, it was more obvious that second time around that, like, oh, yes, we want to make the distinction between, whether it was hunting or fighting, the physical aspect of the family versus Sam, who's bookish and not. And so it's like, well, what if we get a super tall, like, oh, he looks strong and
built,
and attractive. Oh, now we get it.
Now it's very, very clear. Yeah. So anyway, definitely I was aware of him from Game of Thrones, but then for sure Umbrella Academy. I mean, it's a little weird just character-wise in Umbrella Academy because he's got some, gene meshing with an ape or something. So he's got the big, crazy chest and whatever. But he's very fun, and I like Umbrella Academy a lot. So, all right. Tell me about him in The Bodyguard's Wife. No, the wife's, but what is it again?
Hitman's?
The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Correct.
Aha. I sort of almost had it.
You
even
got
though
it eventually with help. So yeah, I mean, look, I didn't even realize this would be such a little
side
direction.
note. Yeah.
But I have a second one that's going to be a lot shorter. But so this first one. So yeah, I mean, even in this, he is basically a rival bodyguard.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, which,
okay.
Super easy to blend into the crowd. That guy. You'd never see him.
But also,
similar to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
It makes sense in that world.
Okay.
I'm not saying it makes sense in reality.
A very attractive, tall white guy, same sort of type.
Well, but I'm still picturing him from Umbrella Academy, so it's very, very wide.
Oh, I mean, in real life he's built, but that's excessive in Umbrella Academy. It's craziness.
So yes, I mean it's a strange because it doesn't start from the beginning, but then it ends up happening very quickly later. That it's like, oh, because Ryan Reynolds, part of the conceit is that he envisions himself as this, top level, maybe best in the world bodyguard, which therefore makes sense that he's this very attractive, perfectly built specimen. So similarly, then it turns out there's this rival guy, Tom Hopper, who is maybe a best in the world and recognized, award-winning bodyguard. So
award-winning, is that a thing? An award-winning bodyguard
in this movie? Seemingly not. On the other hand, we also know the world is a crazy place, so
maybe
theoretically, probably.
Sure.
I mean, you could be award-winning without it being like the Academy Awards or the Emmys level award. It could be like awarded by the city, a key to the city for saving someone's life in a very obvious situation.
Oh, that's an interesting.
Yeah. Yes, though they
Relax, Catherine.
They were doing.
I guess it could be, sure.
They were doing a similar industry, level
award.
Kind of an Academy Award, as in like an industry specific body. Anyway.
The Bodyguard Awards.
Exactly.
The Bodyguards.
No, they didn't call it that.
Oh, hey, if you're listening, we definitely need to do a third movie where it's the Bodyguard Awards, where it's the Bodyguard's Bodyguard.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go in that direction, but sure. But I mean, look, if you were to, I feel like, I mean, if we're talking about bodyguard projects, and I mean, I feel like if you had, get Kevin Costner in there.
Yeah.
My man Richard Madden, and then we got Ryan Reynolds, and now Tom Hopper. I mean, sure, I need all those bodyguards to cross
like
over.
A bodyguard off.
Okay, I'm done with this divergence. But anyway, so in this, that's who Tom Hopper's character is.
Love it.
Although then it turns out who he's defending is interesting. But he doesn't get a lot of time. Is part of what I'm saying, but it's enjoyable that it's like he's sort of a rival towards Ryan, because it's weird. Ryan Reynolds ends up, part of the beginning of the two movies is like, oh no, he is amazing, and then it was like, oh, immediately not so amazing. So now we're still in the situation where it's like, oh well, no, this other guy is better than him because you're constantly not doing what you should do. So it's whatever.
Is part of the conceit of this? I thought he was like retired or something. Did I misread that or something for like the first like 2 minutes of the movie?
That's true. You are correct. That is part of this second movie, the first a little while. But yes, that is not a large part of the movie.
Okay. I just like the concept that he, classically tried to retire and then got sucked back in.
But see, that's where you're led astray by...
Trailers. Why do they always lie? They just lie and just confuse you.
Yes. So it's...
/ tell you 99% of the story.
Right, trailers are bad. I try to never watch trailers.
I know, you really are a trailer avoider.
I think the worst trick a trailer can do is show you 99% of the movie, and then you think that you've been tricked and fooled by this trailer, and then you go and you're like, no, I knew the entire thing. Dang.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's always great looking back when you're like, oh, okay, it was not showing me everything. There was still room. And then other times we're like, no, you showed me all the best parts and the whole story. Oops.
Which I don't like that as a whole marketing
No, it's
approach.
really bad.
It's really awful.
Anyway, he is... so retiring is slightly not correct.
Okay.
He's not doing it as like, I'm done, everything's good. That's not why he's retiring.
Okay, well, all right.
So anyway, our second cast person...
Oh, wait, can I guess? Can I guess? I've looked at the list.
That's why am I doing these for you? Because they're for you. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Is
Have
it
a guess.
Blake Ritson?
Yeah.
From...
The Gilded Age.
From the Gilded Age, which we have been obsessed with him on the Gilded Age just because I don't know how old he's supposed to be on the Gilded Age.
Wow. Okay.
It's so weird. He distracts me every scene he's in. He's not bad at all.
No, he's a good actor, but it's tough because they're doing hair, beard, and usually hat. If not, it's not his whole outfit, but the hat is very distractingly not regular.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
And I think he does sunglasses, which is rare in the Gilded Age, so it's very challenging.
And I'm looking right here. It says he's 44, and I swear on Gilded Age he's supposed to be like 25 or something. It seems
I think
insane,
they've never said the age,
Yeah.
but the perception is young. Although
Or maybe
not to be
not.
rude,
I
but
don't know.
Christine Baranski isn't exactly young, so
and
maybe
it's supposed to be her son. Yeah,
so
you're
we
right.
shouldn't exactly be thinking that.
But he's like trying to court, spoiler-ish about Gilded Age, but he's trying to court this like not even out, like is she 15, 16,
17-year-old.
17
I think
for
she's-
nefarious reasons,
Yeah, she's
obviously.
late,
but
so it should be probably at least past 16. So
yeah,
like 17.
literally every time he comes on screen, I'm like, what is happening? What is happening with this guy? This seems completely off and wrong.
If it settled, it could work better. But at the moment, it's very it's challenging part
weird.
of it.
Yeah, it's not perfect. I mean, side note, watching Gilded Age, enjoying it, but also not perfect in every way. It's not. I wouldn't even say challenging. I am enjoying it to a certain degree, and historically, it's kind of interesting to like watch all this stuff. You're not sure how much of it is real and how much of it is made up and whatever in terms of the behind the scenes of who was doing what to who and all that. The social climbing particularly, but still enjoying it. It's taken us a while to get through it because John and Eric and I are watching it together. So it's like one of those, boy, we got to get around to it. It's so I think we still have a couple episodes to go at this point.
Yeah, we started 1 week behind, and then we've like missed a week, so now we're like 2 behind at least.
At least.
And I think we
we've
missed
skipped.
another week, so now we're probably 3 behind.
Yeah, because we skipped for sure. We've paused, and we have other stuff that we're watching as well. So we're like, okay, not tonight, Gilded Age. Sorry. Anyway, okay, that's very funny that he's in it.
When he first came on screen, I was so excited for you. But then he wasn't around very long.
Oh no, just okay. So
He was immediately killed. So
no.
it didn't. It was. I was like, oh no. I guess not a big draw for Catherine because he has like I mean, the scene might be too. I don't even know if it's 2 minutes, and you're talking about maybe 20 seconds of him, and then that's it.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But it actually was a fun 20 seconds. I was psyched about it.
Good for him. I mean, look, I'm excited for him to be on Gilded Age. He's doing a good job. It's just weird. There's other reasons that it's weird.
Yeah, and apparently, I mean, he's worked a ton. It's a lot of English television,
was noticing that.
including A Mansfield Park with Ed, one of your favorites, Billy Piper.
I mean, I didn't watch that as a period piece thing, so whatever. whatever.
Sure. Rock and Rolla, I don't remember him in. That was probably, just because I didn't know who he was. So, but, all Da Vinci's Demons, unfortunately, I didn't watch.
I watched that. I recognized him. I was like, oh, yeah, Da Vinci's Demons.
Yeah. And
All right.
Long time
Krypton, which Catherine and I watched a little bit of.
We watched some of that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's worked a ton, but and also a lot of stage and some radio, but we weren't as aware of him.
Yeah,
so.
Gilded Age for sure has like brought him right to the forefront of my brain.
Yeah.
Because
we're practically birthday twins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like 3 days apart.
Okay, well,
Skipped right by that. Oops.
that's very important. You should
is.
send him a card.
Whatever. I'm older.
Oh, well, then
You should
okay.
send me a card.
Yeah.
I'll be looking for that in the mail, Blake.
Okay, I'm sure he'll send one. Perfect. Okay, John, is that it for you? Was
Yeah.
that all the important things you needed to mention?
Yep, that's Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. So pretty fun.
Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Nailed it.
Yeah, you correct. You, for the first time, said it correctly. Good job.
Okay, so I guess we can wrap it up. So I brought in Our Flag Means Death. I don't know, brought in. That sounds so weird. But like I've been watching and finished Our Flag Means Death.
No,
but
try it again. Different way.
You're the worst. I also super duper recommend that you watch Short Poppies because of Reese Darby. That was the crossover thing. And also from FX, the TV version of What We Do in the Shadows, which I think just had its 3rd season. So yeah, all 3 of those. Taika Waititi over 2 of them, Reese Darby over 2 of them. There's some crossover going on there. Is that right? I think that's right.
I think, unfortunately, Short Poppies is without Taika, but, it was still great.
It was still great.
Doesn't take away.
Also, it's set in New Zealand and it's all New Zealand all the time, which is so great. Love. Yeah.
Which seems crazy that, look, it's strange. It was partially directed by Jermaine Clement.
Oh.
Big,
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Collaborator of
with
Taika Waititi.
So it's part of the 3 of them because they were all together on
Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords.
Flight
Taika
of the
behind
Conchords,
the
yeah.
camera. But yeah. So we had forgotten that, but yes. So
Yeah,
great.
Flight of the Conchords. That was like the original thing.
Taking
Yeah.
it way back.
Taking it way back. And it's still, I'm 100% sure, on HBO Max, you can see all the episodes now.
The songs are so good.
Oh, they were ridiculous and great. All right. And then Ed.
And I watched Turning Red on Disney Plus by Disney and Pixar, and The Atom Project on Netflix.
Nice.
Both of which I recommend, assuming that you have a subscription, or if you can get a password from someone, get it.
No, don't recommend that. No, I'm
Just kidding. Pay for your subscription, people. Otherwise, they won't be able to make these.
That's kind of how it works. Okay, and John,
Do you want to try it again?
what? Oh God, I said it once right. Okay, hold on. The Hitman. Shh, don't. Hold on. I'm concentrating. The bodyguard's wife's. No, the Hitman's bodyguard's wife.
One more time.
God damn it. The Hitman's wife's bodyguard.
Correct. Were you looking at the screen? Is it on there?
No, I don't. I have Our Flag Means Death.
Okay, so you nailed it. So Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard on Lionsgate, or it's from Lionsgate, but currently on Hulu and HBO for the moment.
God, you can just say it with such ease. It's really impressive.
I don't know. You gotta. It's in my head at the
All
moment.
right, well, good job. Okay, so that's it for this episode, and thank you for listening. And please subscribe and give us a rating, 5 stars, please.
Follow us on all of our socials at Podcast Watching, and definitely check out our Patreon.
Yeah, that's Podcast Watching. And thank you for listening. This is
What We Are Watching.